son of a bitch. All right, welcome to the channel. We are going to work on this roach. This thing is a 2007, I believe. We're gonna have to check the VIN. RM80 that I picked up for cheap. And we're gonna tear this poor thing down and give it some life. As you can see, she's rusted, corroded, dirty, just bird shit everywhere. Just bird shit everywhere. So we're going to tear this poor thing down. I imagine we're going to need a new motor, rebuild that motor. If not, I'll be very, very surprised, but we'll do a compression check on it and see where it's at. But I imagine it's going to need a new top end at least. So we're not going to go too crazy. We're going to sand down this pipe and we're going to paint it. We're maybe a new silencer, new back tire, clean everything up, new plastics, new graphics, fork seal's going to completely redo, front and rear, new tubes, new chain, new sprocket, new brakes, stuff like that to get it sound. And my youngest is going to beat the shit out of this thing. So let's get tearing this down, see what's all wrong with it, order some parts and put it back together and see if we can't make it look nice again. Problem number one, mice. All right, well, a few things. Airbox full of mice, you've seen that. Radiator was full of water, no antifreeze. So I don't know if that radiator's fucked or not. So keep your fingers crossed. Don't know how bad the mice have got to that carburetor. Mice piss will corrode aluminum like crazy. So a little worried about that. We're gonna do a compression check right now and see what we got. $120. So you want about 160. So we're gonna redo the top end. All right, well, we've been working on this motor and cleaning it up. It was an absolute disaster. I don't know if I have before pictures or not. I think I have a few. And it was nasty. What I used was just some simple green, a toothbrush, and some air filter cleaner and degreaser. Worked pretty well. After I scrubbed it for probably an hour with the toothbrush, I power washed it. Now we are going to take these covers off. I believe this cover needs to come off because I need to put a new kickstart seal on there, and we're going to shine these up really shiny. Cylinder needs to come off. We're going to re-ring this, put new base and top gasket in it, and also clean the power valves. So I'm going to get these off here, start shining them. What do I use? I use this white diamond, works real well. Gets rid of the oxidization and stuff in the aluminum. So we're going to get working on that to make it pretty. I got a couple of other parts to make it look nice, and we'll get this thing all back together. It's coming together slowly. Well guys, I pulled this top end apart and the piston is fucked. As you can see right there on the intake side, there's supposed to be a pin for my ring, and the pin is no longer there. So even as good as this piston does look, except for the scarring here, as you can see, that ring gap is huge. The ring was completely fucked. That's why it was only getting 120 pounds of compression. The cylinder still looks good. Here, I'll give you a comparison here of what a good ring and what a bad ring looks like. You can see the top, which is the bottom ring. The top there is melted away. It was actually spun itself completely 180 to the exhaust side. So it was burning itself up on the exhaust side, and we're going to have to get a new piston. But the crank looks good and tight. Cylinder looks okay for one more round. After the next round, it's going to need re-sleeved. But we'll get a piston ordered, put this motor back together, and then we're ready to put the bike back together. So there it is. All right, guys, that is the end of the RM85 build. It was a fun winter project. I really enjoyed doing this bike. Little recap on what we did: new handlebars, new grips, new levers, clutch cable, brake cable, couple anodized parts, brand new plastic, silencer, front and rear tire and tubes. Shocks were completely redone. Forks were completely redone. Top end was redone. New clutch with springs and pressure plates and steels. Pretty much every bearing has been either replaced or lubed. Every wheel bearing, swing arm bearing, name it, it's been replaced. The only thing that I really didn't do to this is I didn't replace the pipe that I would have kind of liked to do. But other than that, guys, the pipe turned out real good. Turned out nice and shiny and the way I wanted it. So really nothing else to do on this bike other than a graphic kit. And since I did go with the Restyle kit to make it a little bit more modern, getting graphics, you can get graphics for it, but I'm kind of looking for something special. So just doing some emailing right now, finding out what I want, what I can get, and then we'll go from there. Don't know how long that'll be, but as soon as I get some graphics, I'll make a video of putting the graphics on and what it looks like with graphics on it. But as of right now, this build is done. I think when I get the graphics, I will go over of how much I have in this bike. I wrote down every single part and every single piece that I bought for this bike. I was kind of skimming through it last night. Put a lot of money into this bike. It was a pretty penny to do, but it was a fun project, and I think my kid's really gonna like it. So there it is, guys. Hope you enjoyed.